Well, thank you very much. I'd like to start actually by asking you to switch off and take your imagination elsewhere. Imagine the year is 1907 and you are standing outside this wonderful building on the streets of London, and what the world might have looked like back then. The whole transportation industry back then was based on the horse and carriage. And it was only a year later that along came Henry Ford with the Model T, and in a very short space of time, that industry and transportation was revolutionized forever. I think we're on the cusp of a very similar transformation today in the energy sector, and the technology that is going to be the Model T of this revolution is going to be battery energy storage. So, why do I say that? Well, I work for AES, and those of you who have not heard of us, we're a global energy company, been around for 30 years and are essentially a power producer in 18 countries around the world. But we've also got a head start on the energy storage game as well. We've been doing grid-scale battery storage since 2008. So we have now 8 years of commercial operating experience of energy storage systems. It's quite fitting, actually, that 100 years on from Henry Ford's Model T, we were actually the first company to deploy a grid-scale battery. We're the first to commercialize it, and we are currently the world leader as ranked by multiple independent assessments. We have the most kind of assets in operation and the biggest pipeline. So we kind of know what we're talking about on the commercialization front. So how do batteries make sense? Well, it's quite a simple proposition, and it's one a lot of policymakers struggle with. It's how you address this whole energy trilemma, reducing costs and emissions whilst maintaining or improving your security of supply. And batteries are actually fantastic pieces of kit for this sort of purpose. If you compare it to a power plant, a battery side by side, first of all, you get twice the flexibility of a resource. You've got a 100 megawatt battery, you can go to plus 100 and to minus 100. So straight away, the nameplate comparison side by side, you're getting more flexibility out of that battery. It's like having generation and demand response all at once. But not only that, you're also providing a much more precise and accurate response to the system's needs. You're able to jump from any one set point to any other set point pretty much instantaneously. There's no minimum generation like a conventional power plant would have. And you can essentially deploy it really quickly. You can put it anywhere that you have a grid connection within a year. So it's very quick and easy to deploy. And it essentially does the job of a conventional peaking power plant better than a peaker can do. So the market for this has really exploded in the last few years, and the demonstration, I think, comes through the actual numbers that we've seen in terms of systems we deployed. So in the US, to just give one example, PJM, one of the world's largest power markets, we have about 64 megawatts of storage, which is across a number of different sites, and that's providing frequency regulation service to the grid, so helping keep the frequency at 60 hertz. By doing that better than a conventional power plant, they've managed to reduce their overall carrying reserve, the number of conventional power plants they hold back to provide this reserve. And by doing that, they've saved substantial sums of money, $20 million a year and 62,000 tons of CO2. So it really does deliver on all three legs of the energy trilemma. But what I'm interested in talking to you today about is taking it away from the grid scale into new territory. And the systems that we have at a centralized kind of location are highly modular, so we can deploy them and aggregate them across multiple locations. And I think this is a very interesting area, particularly at kind of the industrial and commercial scale, because not only can you still do the same services that you do at grid level, there are a number of other inherent advantages and benefits by having storage at a particular site. So in particular, a great example of this is uninterruptible power supplies. A lot of large industries, data centers are a great example of this, but large manufacturers have UPSs in to protect against power quality and to provide instantaneous backup. Our system can do that. Diesel gensets are commonly used to peak LOP and reduce demand. Again, the battery can do that. It's a 3-4 hour period. It's comfortable for our system. And if you've got solar panels on site, well, the battery can help optimize the use of those. So it might be generating most during the day, and your charges are higher at night. So it can help optimize the system. So the sum is greater than the parts, and you have a lot more opportunities in deploying it in this form. So what I'm actually looking for today more than anything is just the conversations to happen about how we might take this into a commercial industrial space. So if you have contacts or someone that might be interested, or you're interested yourself, I'd be very happy to speak to you afterwards, and I will leave it there for now. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.